Good evening. In the early hours of Christmas Day 2024, 31-year-old Anthony Gilheany went on an alcohol-fuelled spree of attacks, costing an innocent man his life. Aidan Chapman was one of 5 people hit by the car Gilheany was using to mount pavements in London's West End. He died from catastrophic brain injuries. Today, Gilheany was jailed for life for Aidan's murder and the attempted murder of 2 other men. Despite a desperate attempt to portray himself as a victim, police today said the events which unfolded on CCTV showed his anger. Cafe Pater reports.
As I've said to you girls, I cannot remember nothing. I am blacked out.
The reason he claims he can't remember is because he was drunk. 2 Christmases ago, Anthony Gilheany left a nightclub with no driver's license and in no fit state to drive. Speeding along the West End, his car, a weapon, used to ram into those nearby, including Aidan Chapman. Aged 25 years old, he died from a brain injury.
Throughout the investigation and court proceedings, Mr Gilheany sought to portray himself as a victim. The court heard that his actions were deliberate. He was fuelled by rage and alcohol and used his car as a weapon, ultimately resulting in the loss of a young man's life.
Witnesses and victims recalled everything happening so quickly. Gilheany himself maintains there was no method to his madness, but prosecutors beg to differ, arguing that he did indeed choose his targets intentionally. In court, we heard how Gilheany shouted racist abuse at one of his victims, reversing his car into him and knocking him to the ground. Moments later, he drove into 2 men holding hands. Now his lawyer, Gilheany's lawyer, tried to argue that using racist language doesn't make you a racist, but the judge wasn't buying this. In the end, all these factors contributed to a longer sentence, one of life with a minimum of 36 years in prison.
The court has recognised that he targeted some of the victims because of their race and sexuality, and this has been reflected in the sentence he has received. Hate crimes cause harm that extend far beyond the immediate victims. They send a message to fear to entire communities. I hope that the sentence he received sends a clear message that such hatred will not be tolerated in this city.
I'm just telling you, I cannot remember nothing.
Gilheany may not remember what he did 2 Christmases ago, but his victims most certainly do. They cannot forget, and they never will. Cafe Pater, ITV News.
There's been major disruption to trains in and out of Euston today after a fire near the tracks in Camden. Sangeeta Kandola is there for us now. Sangeeta, do we know how this happened?
Well, Yasmin, I don't know if you can see over my shoulder here, firefighters are still on the scene because they're still trying to put out the remaining part of that fire. It's quite tricky to get to, but it's been smouldering all day. Now, the fire started around 9:30 this morning. 10 fire engines and around 70 firefighters did bring it under control, mostly by lunchtime. Now, the building, which was the old Primrose Hill station and is now a lamp shop and a hot yoga studio, the floor there has been completely destroyed and the roof severely damaged. Now, luckily, nobody was actually hurt and the cause of the fire is yet unknown. Now, the fire burned close to the tracks near Euston and that has caused major disruption. Now, Network Rail say major disruption to all West Coast mainline services. That's from Euston to Watford Junction, so that's the Advanti West Coast. On the London North Western, they have suspended all trains from Euston. And from London Overground, they say there was disruption between Richmond and Clapham Junction and between Stratford. Now, the advice, as always, is do check before you travel. Disruption, they say, is likely for the rest of the evening and into tonight as well, until this fire is fully out.
OK, Sangeeta, thank you very much. Well, just down the road, a protester has been arrested after scaling the roof of King's Cross Station this morning. The man climbed the 120-foot building to fly a banner just under the clock tower. Emergency services arrived at 8:30 this morning and removed the demonstrator shortly afterwards. Now, it's a condition that affects more than 1 million women in the UK and can cause pain that's been compared to stab wounds. But for those living with endometriosis, a lack of public knowledge and gaps in healthcare funding means the life-changing impact goes far beyond the debilitating symptoms. In simple terms, endometriosis is when tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows where it shouldn't, causing inflammation, scar tissue, and even organs to become stuck to one another. 10% of women in the UK are thought to be living with the condition. That's 1.5 million people. But getting a diagnosis is not easy. It takes almost 9 years on average and then requires surgery. And while women suffer, the cost to the UK economy as a result of lost work and healthcare is estimated to be more than £8 billion a year. Well, for Shanju Pal, it's also involved a 6-year-long legal battle over unfair dismissal and workplace discrimination. She joins me now with her MP, Tulip Siddique. Welcome to you both. Thank you both very much for coming in. Let's start with you, Shanju. Just tell us briefly about your experience, what happened to you physically, mentally, and then what happened to you at work.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Difficult condition. I was in excruciating pain. My endometriosis manifested as endometrioma, cyst on my ovaries. I had surgery quite urgently, had a long period off work. I had a phased return, came back to work, trying my best. And then, out of nowhere, I received a letter to invite me to be dismissed from my job of 10 years.
OK, so you've been through quite a lot of legal battles. It's gone through many twists and turns. And we're kind of basically at a stage now, I think I'm right in saying that it's been found that conditions like endometriosis, for you in your case, was actually a disability. It was disabling. So that could set a precedence in law, couldn't it? If that happens for other women, how helpful could this be in the workplace?
I think this judgment is setting the legal precedent for the millions of women with endometriosis to be able to use this to say, I need reasonable adjustments. This condition is disabling me. And this is how an employer needs to sit up and take notice and analyse the evidence, understand the impact that it's having on a woman with endometriosis' ability to live and also work to their full capability. And yes, I'm really delighted to be able to say, please read the judgment if you haven't, because that's crucial.
OK, I mean, look, it would help individuals. It would actually help employers as well, wouldn't it, know how to do. Tulip, you're going to raise this in Parliament, aren't you? What do you want to happen?
Just before I answer that, Yaz, can I just pay tribute to my very brave constituent? Because this is a fight that went on for 6.5 years. If she hadn't shown the tenacity for the fight for justice, because just to point out, it's not just justice for her. As you mentioned previously, it's 1 in 10 women who are suffering from this chronic condition, which debilitates you from doing your work. And this judgment has come through 6.5 years of not just physical pain, but also mental health, you know, the effect it's had on it. And when I've spoken to Shanju in great detail about what she went through, I just wanted to take a minute to pay tribute to her before saying, for me, what I want to do is for people to realise what the condition is about, but also make reasonable adjustments in the workplace. When women come to you and say, this is what I'm struggling with, here's the medical evidence, as Shanju did with her employer, to say, look, the reason why I can't do the work I've been doing for the past 10 years is because I'm in this crippling pain. It's deep abdominal pain. I've got to have surgery. People should make reasonable adjustments at that point.
Do you know, I think there's an issue here, isn't there? Because there's taboos around this, which we still have, unfortunately. It just makes it so hard for some people to be able to go to their line manager, to their employer, and say what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. And I think part of the judgment, or part of me telling my story, I know it's about advocacy and it's not something that's easy, but we are entitled to be treated fairly in the workplace. That is our fundamental right, regardless of where we work as well. And I should say, for employers like corporates, like Accenture, where the up or out model is absolutely fundamentally against any person with a chronic condition, we need to have adjustments in place for us so that we can accelerate and progress in the workplace without being penalised for our condition.
Yeah, we should just say that because your case is still ongoing, you're going back to a retrial, aren't you? Accenture have told us today that they said they won't comment while that case is ongoing. But ongoing it is. So I have a feeling that we might be talking to you again. Thank you so much for coming in, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin.
Now, for almost a year, ITV News London has been looking into the epidemic of tool thefts in and around the capital. And now politicians from all sides of the chamber have pledged to put a stop to it. Today, Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey visited a warehouse in Sutton where he made his plea for more police intervention and said he would work with other parties to give more protection to those at risk. He spoke to Antoine Allen.
What would be your message directly to the tool theft gangs if you were to get into power?
Liberal Democrats will be after you. We give the police the resources and the focus to make sure that you are caught and you're seriously punished.
Is this the best plan to protect tradespeople's livelihoods? The leader of the Liberal Democrats set out his party's strategy to tackle the tool theft crime wave. London is statistically the most dangerous place to be a tradesperson, with gangs roaming the streets looking for vans and trucks to target. ITV News' investigation obtained an FOI that revealed every 50 minutes power tools are stolen in the capital. Today, Sir Ed Davey met a victim of tool theft in Sutton. I previously followed the police as they raided a boot sale in Essex, discovering hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of stolen tools last year. And despite a raid this week uncovering £2 million of stolen tools, the Lib Dem leader believes the police need to do more. His party wants a specialist unit to tackle the tool theft gangs.
We think there should be a new Operation Ironclad with a specialised unit that has intelligent-led policing to join the dots and go after the crime gangs who are so often behind this. We also think we need to ask the vehicle manufacturers to step up with anti-theft devices, designs of the vehicle so it's much harder for them to break into them.
Tradespeople have not been silent victims. Window restorer Frankie Williams has been investigating boot sales and exposing the sale of stolen tools. I put his question directly to the Lib Dem leader.
We would love to know how you would help us in the fight against tool theft, with the sale of stolen tools being sold in car boot sales, and also how you would support the police in the fight against tool theft.
Well, I'd like to meet Frankie and have a chat with him, but we've got three ideas. Two of them I mentioned, that we need a special police unit focused in on this. We need to get the vehicle manufacturers improving the design of the vehicles. But his point about reselling is also something that we want to address.
I showed Frankie Sir Ed's plan and request.
I think it's absolutely amazing that he wants to meet me.
Frankie's Instagram page, Stolen Tools UK, received hundreds of videos of vans being broken into and tools being stolen every day. He welcomed more political support for tradespeople after years of campaigning.
There's more that can be done. I cover on a daily basis on our platforms, you know, people getting into huge debts, they can't work, their job gets cancelled, and it's just playing a huge, massive mental health impact.
The Liberal Democrat leader admitted more needs to be done to highlight every tradesperson's fear and anxiety.
Well, we've been looking at the figures. We've been seeing great programmes like you yourself have done that have exposed this as a problem for thousands of people. And the fact that it's such a common crime, between 2019 and last year, nearly 60,000 tool thefts across London. I don't think it's had the attention it deserves, and that's why we want to raise awareness and put forward positive ideas about how we could tackle it.
Every major political party has now given statements and plans on how to tackle the tool theft crime wave. Tradespeople I spoke to are ready to see actions and not just words. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
OK, still to come on the programme. A celebration of cultural commutes as Poems on the Underground turns 40 and...
I'd rather be with your friends, mate, because they are much fitter.
From laying the foundations for an indie feminist revolution to a roundhouse revival, Kate Nash will be with me in the studio. But first, there are few people who could draw a crowd that includes Hollywood stars, TV legends and genuine royalty. But that's the societal boundaries that Dame Jilly Cooper broke down. Southwark Cathedral welcomed hundreds of guests for a celebration of Dame Jilly's life following her sudden death in October. Jay Akbar reports.
It's difficult to forget someone as memorable as Dame Jilly Cooper for her work or her ways.
Are you on telly yourself?
I'm not, no. I'm a little bit young for that just yet.
It's beautiful, isn't it? You ought to be.
At Southwark Cathedral today, friends and family remembered the Queen of the Bonk Buster. In attendance, entertainment royalty and the real deal. She didn't speak today, but Queen Camilla has referred to Dame Jilly as a wonderfully witty and compassionate friend. It's the mark of a life well lived that your memorial be attended by both celebrity gardener Alan Titchmarsh and Oscar nominee Stanley Tucci.
She lived an incredible life, a life like no one else has ever lived. And she also changed the lives of so many people for the better with her books.
Some people think it's just sex. No. Jilly was the girl. She knew it all, and we're going to miss her very much.
Throughout her life, she was hugely generous. Her only failing was her appalling handwriting. She was a great letter writer, but it took ages to decipher them.
Her novels were much easier to read. Some, like Riders, were adapted for TV.
My husband is away on business.
Well, perhaps you'd like to have dinner tonight.
They offered a peek through the sordid curtain of high society, and she wasn't a stranger at the polo herself.
It feels like life imitating art that Dame Jilly rubbed shoulders with the kinds of people that she was writing about. But her stories about the scandals of the upper class really were enjoyed by everyone. And as I found out today, they continue to be.
Beg your pardon.
The Disney Plus adaptation of Cooper classic Rivals proved her work truly was timeless.
I loved the scandal of it. I just thought it was so fun. It was really funny, the story, and yeah, I just really loved it.
You look at it and you're like, wow, this woman's imagination was just,
And a little bit scandalous as well.
Oh, so scandalous. I think I saw an interview from her once, and she was saying when she read it back, she thought wow, did I write this?
At her memorial today, Dame Jilly was described as a person with a champagne soul. Feels fitting, bubbly, sharp and effortlessly elegant. Jay Akbar, ITV News.
Kate Nash is one of pop's rule breakers. The Brit Award-winning singer from North Harrow has evolved through so many genres of music, from her breakout hit Foundations to a more punky sound. But you always know it's her. She's also an actress, an activist, and even just stunned audiences on The Masked Singer. Before we chat, here is a little taster of her unique sound.
My fingertips are holding onto the cracks in our foundation. I'm driving to the mountains to see snow. The sun has gone and so must I. Do you think we'll know each other when we die? I said I'd rather be with your friends, mate, cause they are much fitter. Go, listen up, you're not radical.
You were just telling me that you shot one of those on your iPhone.
Yeah, in the
That's
pandemic.
amazing.
Yeah, I've always been a bit DIY. So.
Yeah, you are nothing if not adaptable. I mean, you're constantly
That's
evolving.
true.
Yeah,
I think you have to be adaptable in this world.
But I get the sense that you don't want to put labels on the stuff that you do.
Yes. I don't like authority and I don't like labels, so it's been a bit of a problem in my career.
No, but you've kind of had those ups and downs, haven't you? Being with labels, being without, but independent. Do you just feel totally free?
I was independent for 12 years and I think it really made me the artist and the woman that I am today. I think it was essential learning for me, really. I signed to Kill Rock Stars in the beginning of 2024, who are a punk iconic label. And I finally, after, even just looking back on some of that stuff, I've been doing this a long time, it's been 20 years. And I finally have a team that I just love, who are really stable and really brilliant. And so it's exciting to be 38 and releasing music as the adult that I am now, with a team that really get me and are really behind me and can it allows me to actually be even more creative.
Do you get to look back at your work like that very much, or kind of spliced together?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I'd say the time that happened to me in the biggest way was my 10-year anniversary of Made of Bricks tour. Which was quite healing. I sort of sat with my younger self and sang all these songs. I'd written some of them when I was 16. But now we're coming up to 20 years of Made of Bricks, so time just flies, really.
It does, doesn't it? Time flies. Listen, you're very outspoken, you're very passionate about certain issues, and you kind of build that into your work, don't you? We know that you've spoken about the issue of music venues in London closing down. This is really important stuff, isn't it? We've done a lot about this on our programme.
Yeah, it's a really difficult time for touring artists, but also, streaming has been really difficult for us. Like, the majors and the streamers are making extreme amounts of profits, and artists are being paid less than they ever have been. And with inflation, it's really difficult for us to keep up with paying our crew and putting on, good shows with bands and live music and everything.
What needs to happen?
So much needs to happen. I'm actually going to be in Parliament on the 3rd as part of a CMS committee giving evidence about some of the things that I think could help with the live industry, specifically in Europe. But we have big problems domestically as well. So you can tune in, you can watch that.
Yeah, we will do. Listen, you also have so much fun. We saw you very recently, maybe last week, I think, in The Masked Singer, being unmasked at Monkey Business.
Yeah.
You were with the best shoulder pads I think I've ever seen on telly.
She's such an amazing character.
Did you love her?
I really fell in love with the character, yeah. And I think like I do a lot of like political, serious stuff, and I wanted to just do something quite fun. And I love Davina McCall, so anything for her really. But Monkey Business is I think she should get a spin-off show. Look at her, she's really iconic. And I got to sing As Long As He Needs Me from Oliver Twist, which was a very surreal experience.
Can I just say I cried when you
Did you
when
really?
you took the mask off and you sang it again, didn't you? I was bawling my eyes out.
Were you?
Yeah.
I think I could play Nancy. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like that to happen?
Oh my God, I love Nancy. I think she's one of the best characters ever. So that was my audition, if anyone's watching.
Yeah, well, they'd be silly not to. Big show coming up at the Roundhouse.
Yes.
I've read that this is your most ambitious live show yet.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What's going to happen?
Well, I can't give too much away, but, you know, I've been working for the past year and a half on really developing working with a lot of different types of musicians. I have my band who I've been touring with for about 12 years, and I've been working with a lot of strings, a conductor, string arrangements. I was able to work with a Philharmonic Orchestra at Mighty Hoopla over the summer. I did Glastonbury. Like, our sound has really evolved, and I love playing shows. So the 19th of March, I'll be at the Roundhouse, so you can get tickets for that.
We will look forward to it. So
You should
much
come.
coming up. Oh, I'd love to. Thanks, Kate. Thanks so much. OK, let's get the weekend weather forecast now. Here's Holly.
Wet by the coast, with a high chance of sun and splashing. TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
Hello, good evening. We've got low pressures in the vicinity of the UK at the moment, and the trouble is they're being blocked by high pressure across Scandinavia, and it means they're sort of bimbling around, dying a death, and it just makes the detail really tricky to forecast. Out there this evening, we've got outbreaks of rain spilling their way across us. The rain is turning more showery, and those showers come and go through the course of the night tonight. Fairly cloudy at first, but that cloud does tend to clear towards the tail end of the night. Lows around 6 or 7, not falling away too far. But actually, it might be quite a bright look as we head into tomorrow, more so than we were originally thinking. So hopefully some sunshine to be had. There is cloud trying to push in at times, and perhaps a few showers on occasion, but we may well get away with a largely dry and bright day. Temperatures around 8 or 9 degrees, but you can see we're not too far away from thicker cloud and outbreaks of rain just sitting there behind me. And as we zoom out to look at the picture for tomorrow evening and overnight, you can see more of that cloud, and those outbreaks of rain do start to work their way across us. But with that low dying away, we tend to find our winds dropping lighter, and that may well allow some mist and fog to form. This is Saturday night into Sunday morning. So I think we could start Sunday on a misty, foggy note, but I think that will tend to lift and clear. And then we've got light winds around on Sunday where you get some sunshine, actually probably not feeling bad. You might see a shower or two, but I suspect a lot of the time will be dry. And then into next week, we do see a return to more unsettled conditions. So overall, we're keeping the same sort of pattern, but actually through a decent part of the weekend at least, we may find we've got some fairly usable conditions. Have a good evening. Take care.
TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
Finally, for 4 decades, excited tourists and bleary-eyed commuters have been able to enjoy verse on the Victoria and prose on the Piccadilly. Poems on the Underground is celebrating 40 years of encouraging a wider audience to embrace poetry in perhaps the most unlikely of places. Ahead of a new series hitting a tube near you in a couple of weeks' time, Bank Station served as a stage for writers to give a taster of their work today. Anila Dami went along to listen.
Perfection of a kind was what he was after, and the poetry he invented was easy to understand.
Has a poem on the tube ever stopped you in your tracks? You may have seen the likes of William Shakespeare or modern-day poetry. Well, some of those behind the words are here today, gathered at Bank Station to celebrate 40 years of poems on the Underground.
It was amazing, the atmosphere was great, and just listening to the other poets was so uplifting.
Sun shine and rain fall.
Valerie Bloom's joy is still evident as she remembers seeing her poem in 1993.
The first time I saw it in the train, I couldn't contain myself.
and saw the fog a fall, and saw the sun a fail.
For Jason, it was a moment to remember his father, Andrew Salkey.
So bursting with pride, I couldn't believe it. I went onto the tube with my camera, and on a full packed tube I stood up and photographed it and quickly ran out the door. And the next stop I was so embarrassed, but I shouldn't have been because, you know, it's my dad.
Proud memories today after a concept created by American writer Judith Chernak, who reflects on the start of her idea in 1986.
It was very emotional for me because 40 years ago when we started this program, it came out of very close friendship with my two co-founders, that is Gerard Benson and Cicely Herbert. And thinking back to those times, I feel young again.
Among the hustle and bustle and sounds of the underground have been words, providing commuters with a chance to pause, tourists with an opportunity to immerse in culture and history, and sometimes some humour for the journey.
Poems on underground, very good, very nice.
I like them, they're kind of cool, something a bit different to look at.
We represent London, and London is a city of culture. And I think it's important to see that reflected in our transport system.
A new series of poems will launch on trains from early February, with more words continuing to accompany millions across the capital. Anila Dami, ITV News.
I love those poems on the underground. That is it from us. The evening news is next now with Charlene, but from all of us on the London team, thanks for watching. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.